where I'm broadcasting. It's also going out to a whole bunch of other social media things, but the best way to interact with this is to join HAPS using the link, and then you get to see and make various comments and interact in that way. And 30 Days Wild is a little project run by the Wildlife Trusts here in the United Kingdom, encouraging people every day in June to go out and do random acts of wildness, to see something wild, to see something in the world. So I'm just having a quick walk today on Paradise Fields, which is part of Horsenden Hill, a site in the London Borough of Ealing. And I thought I'd briefly show you an interaction between a couple of invertebrates, the flower, that might be of interest. So I'm just going to turn the camera around. And what you can possibly see here, hopefully, is a bunch of buttercups. And maybe you can see on some of the buttercups, on one of the buttercups, a dark insect, which is a bumblebee. It's an early bumblebee, in fact. So at first glance, there's a bumblebee visiting a flower. But if you look at it, it's very still and it's sitting in an odd posture, so something's going on. So if we go in a bit closer, and you do without disturbing things. Oops, where am I going? Come on. There we go. So now you can see the bumblebee sort of dangling off the flower. And maybe you can see on top of it something else rather yellow. It's almost the same colour as the flower. I'll go in a bit closer there. So you can see there that this bee seems to be stuck. And if you look closely, what you can see is that the thing on which it's attached, this will eventually scarp it if I go too close. There, that's reasonably in focus. Is a yellow spider. The spider's really well camouflaged against that flower, and it's just blown away. And it's blown away so strongly that it's actually ducked down to the other side of the flower, because the flower's blown off. Let me see if I can find it again. Zoom. There we go. It's back. There we go. Come on. So there we go. It's nicely focused before. And the spider is one of the crab spiders. It's called Mizumia vatia, I think its name is. And this is an interesting group of spiders because it can change colour. It can change colour to match what it's sitting on, and they're essentially ambush predators. What they'll do is they'll match themselves in to the plant they are sitting on, and they will sit there and they will wait till some unsuspecting insect like this bumblebee comes along to get some nectar, maybe get some pollen, and they'll nab them and inject their fangs in, inject some poison in, and drink all the juices from the insect. I suspect this spider can get quite a nice meal out of this bee, because as you can see, the bee is bigger than the spider. So you do see this quite often. You can see the spider's starting to move a little bit, or you could see it if I hadn't moved the camera out the way. So you can see the spider's starting to move. That may be because it can see me hanging around near it and thinking I'm a predator. It may just be, oops, it may just be being awkward. And of course, as is always the way with photography, there is various bits in the way. I can't really move the stuff that's obscuring the image because it would scarp if I did that. There's a crab spider feeding away on a bumblebee. Hello, Ahmed. Welcome to the broadcast. So yeah, it's quite an interesting habitat. So as far as I'm aware, this spider doesn't make any silk. Hi, Issa. Two bugs. If you look closely, there's a crab spider, which has cunningly changed colour to match in really well with this buttercup. And thanks for the award, Issa. I'll come back to awards in just a second. It's cunningly changed colour to match in with this buttercup. and it's sat there, and when this bumblebee's come along to get a nice drink of nectar, the spider's leapt out and nabbed it. And these spiders, certainly this species of crab spider, has the ability to change its colour um, to match the surfaces it's on. I'm not entirely sure how it does it. I've never been able to quite find out from a arachnologist, person who studies spiders anyway. Perhaps I'll ask Issa's spider friend when she's next doing a broadcast with him, if he knows how these things work. But these, in Britain, this spider I've seen varies from a sort of pale green colour, which is normal, to ones that are really bright yellow like this. And they just sit there and nab the occasional bee. And fortunately, I'm slightly amazed that this one has sat still whilst I've pointed a camera at it. Normally, whenever I try and get a picture of these things, the process of going near them scares the spider away. But there we have it. That was all I was really going to put on today. It was just a brief view of an interesting little bit of interaction and evolutionary change, and unusually for me, a spider I could actually identify. See if I can remember how, I probably pronounce it wrong, but it's something like Mizumia vatia, or the crab spider, the common crab spider. And the bee, I'm less good at bees. I would have to check that in my book to work out which species of bumblebee it is. So there we go. It does match the flower so well, so it's remarkable. I must try and find out properly how they do it. I don't think they change colour by drawing in any materials from the flower they're on, so I don't think they drink the flowers to get the colour chemicals. So they must in some way be able to sense the colour of what they're on and then adapt their body to it. It's really rather clever. So anyway, I think I will probably end the broadcast there. It was just a brief look at an interesting bit of an interaction, and I will hopefully, if it doesn't fly away before I get my proper camera out, take a picture of the bee and try and identify the bee properly when I get home.